It's the iconic classic view of the Tower of London, and we've done many videos on the Tower of London which you can find on the channel. But we're not going there today, we're going here. It is a church by the side of the Tower of London that's even older than the Tower of London, with an amazing history. So welcome to our video on All Hallows by the Tower. Now, as you can see, like so much of London, you have the old here on the right of the church, and then right in front you have the Sky Garden building on Fenchurch Street right by it. So you've got that eclectic mix of the old meeting the new. And look at the date that this church was founded, 675. And we're going to start by going down into the crypt, down these rickety stairs, and have we got some history for you. So welcome to the Roman mosaic floor dating from the 2nd century. So an old Roman dwelling was based here, and this is an original mosaic floor from then, from the year 100 AD, and just look at the surroundings around it. So this is an absolute treasure trove. Oh, by the way, I don't think I've mentioned, it's all completely free, and this is called the Undercroft Museum. So if you see it mentioned, this is where it is. And just look, here we go, we've got more stones dating back from the Roman period as well. So looking around, we've got other artifacts. Forget the fire extinguisher, that's modern. Someone's about to put into the comments. Anyway, this is a cast of a gravestone that was found in 1911 in the Moorgate area, and the original of which is in the British Museum, and it even tells you what it actually says there in Latin. And here we have another one. So we know that when the Romans came to London, or what they called Londinium at the time, it was in AD 55, and they set up base literally just down the river at London Bridge, and of course this whole area was part of that. So you've got lots and lots of different Roman findings that are here. Now all of these are casts because the original pieces have been taken away and put into museums. Now, if you're a history buff, and I would never claim to be a history buff, but do you know what? Doing these videos on London has just taught me so much and has really whetted my appetite for it. You've got this map here, which actually shows you what London was like and the walled city around it. But not only that, I think it's just amazing how sort of green the area was. And as you can see, you've got a guide to all of this as well. Now, the other bit as well that I didn't realise before coming into All Hallows is, because it's not actually publicised anywhere, is just the extent of this museum and what you can see as you're around it. So if you love your history, all I would suggest is coming to All Hallows. Check for services. You can go online, and as I said, it's completely free, and you can spend as much time here as possible during the opening times. And it's absolutely incredible what they found here and around the church area as well, buried down deep. Now, if you're thinking of coming and paying this a visit and sort of tagging it onto a day at the Tower of London, please can I suggest you don't. And the only reason for doing that is the Tower of London is a day in itself, and then you won't have time to do this place justice as well. So if you're coming down to All Hallows, make it into a separate trip and do some other bits and pieces whilst you're down in the area as well, like a fantastic walk along by the side of the Thames. And here we're looking at old Roman pottery. And then I look at some of the other assorted things that they found here, such as hair clips, but also there's coins and also an old key to get into the church. So let's give you some history about All Hallows by the Tower. Now, the history and the early origin are a bit obscure. Now, at the time of the dissolution of the monasteries in 1539 by, yes, himself, Henry VIII, the church belonged to Barking Abbey, which was a wealthy Benedictine nunnery in Barking in Essex. Now, it was originally established, they think, in the 7th century. Now, the association with Barking was a long one, and All Hallows Church was already known as a Benedictine in the 12th century, according to the Domesday Book in 1086, and Barking Abbey possessed 28 houses and half a church in London, although the church itself is not named, and it's usually identified with All Hallows. Here you're looking at some of the plates and some of the fantastic metalwork which is used by the church itself. Now, the original Anglo-Saxon Abbey of Barking was founded by Erkenwald, along with Chertsey Abbey, before he became Bishop of London in 675, and it's claimed that the land on which All Hallows stands was granted to the abbey under Ethelbert, which is Erkenwald's sister at that time. Now, a charter dated to 687, listing properties belonging to Barking Abbey, includes 2 pieces of land in or near London, and one of these was simply described as Exuria Londinium, near or next to London, and the other Super Vicium Londonii, which is Londonvic, which is the Anglo-Saxon town that had grown up in the area of the Strand, a mile to the west of the old Roman city of Londinium. Neither of these, though, has accurately described the location of All Hallows Church inside the wall of the Roman city on the eastern side. So the dating of the church continued to flummox people, and it wasn't until 1940, during World War II, after the clearance of destruction caused by bombing, it revealed an archway built of reused Roman tiles and stonework, set in a surviving wall of the medieval church. Now, the reuse of Roman building materials and the comparison with arches in early Anglo-Saxon church at Brixworth in Northamptonshire actually suggested that All Hallows Arch was very early in date, and that the original church could have been built as early as the 7th century. Now, as we get better with our history and our dating and sort of research into everything, recent research and archaeological evidence found that Roman tiles and stone were being used in the construction of other London churches as late as the 11th century, suggesting that the arch that they found could have been constructed at any time between the 7th century and the arrival of the Normans. Fragments of 3 11th century stone crosses were also found during archaeological work in the 1930s and clearance works after the bombing, which are displayed in the crypt and also date from the first church. And here's a little bit more about it. The church was expanded and rebuilt several times between the 11th and 15th centuries, with various elements of the Norman, 13th century and 15th century construction still visible now. Now, this is the fun part, and its connection with the Tower of London, which is right next door. And it meant that it acquired royal connections, with Edward IV making one of its chapels a royal chantry, and the beheaded victims of the Tower executions being sent for temporary burial at All Hallows, Sir Thomas More being one of the most eminent of them. It's good, isn't it? London history. Go back, gonna cover Henry VIII, tick, did that earlier, and executions and beheadings, tick, covered that one as well. Wonderful! I feel like the London history bit is almost complete, but wait, there's more. The church was badly damaged by an explosion in 1650, which is caused when some barrels of gunpowder being stored in the warehouse adjacent to the church exploded. Now, its west tower and some 50 nearby houses were destroyed, and there were many fatalities. The tower was rebuilt in 1658. It also only narrowly survived the Great Fire of London in 1666 and owes its survival to Admiral William Penn, who is the father of William Penn of Pennsylvania. So William Penn was known, of course, as being one of the founders of Pennsylvania, hence that name, and he had his men from a nearby naval yard blow up the surrounding buildings to create fire breaks, and during the Great Fire, Samuel Pepys climbed the church's tower to watch the progress of the blaze and what he described as the saddest sight of desolation. What I really love about this is coming into the chapels, but then when you just have a good look round, you get places like this, you look through the grate, and then you've got these amazing pieces of art on the wall. So if you're coming here, make sure you do spend lots and lots of time to have a good look round. I'm starting to discover around London some more of these amazing church places that so many people don't know about, and once again it's completely free to go in, and also I just love being able to walk around these chapels as well. But wait, that's not the only one, because not only have we got that large chapel, we've got this little one here that so many people walk past. And as you're walking down here, see that black thing that's hanging down there? That is melted lead, which came from the ceiling when there was a big fire that happened nearby. Not only that, as you go around here as well, you've got that hanging on the wall, but also you've got a stained glass window, which is sort of just here, tucked away and hidden, but you have to come in and have a good look. Otherwise, you completely miss it. It's really funny because the more I reflect on my visit here and coming to film, it's absolutely incredible that there's no fee charged. Yet you go to some of the bigger places like St Paul's and Westminster Abbey and there's a fee. But just think of the history that you've got here. So we go from down below the crypt and we come upstairs and we have a look at the amazing artwork up here. Now, one of the things we love doing here on London Visited is to bring you places that people may have seen but have never been inside. Just think of the millions of people that visit the Tower of London. They walk past All Hallows by the Tower but have never been in here to see this amazing collection of history that is sitting here. So, if you haven't joined us yet and you haven't subscribed, then you know what you need to do. And if you then subscribe, welcome to the London Visited family. So if you fancy paying a visit up here, so easy to get to. You've got Tower Hill station just around the corner from here. Of course, with the Tower of London, and you've got various bus services that drop off right outside as well. And if you're in the City of London, it's literally around the corner from Monument and also St Dunstan's in the east, which is that amazing churchyard where nature has reclaimed it, which we featured quite a few times on this channel. Something else just to remember if you're paying a visit to here is to check and see what they've got on in the way of services, because if they've got a big service going on, it's not as easy to come in, walk around, etc., to have a look at the different bits and pieces. So it's worth going to their website just to have a little look and see what is going on, so you don't miss out on some of this amazing features that we've brought you so far in this video. So what did you think of All Hallows by the Tower? And the question for you may well have seen it, have you actually been inside? Do let us know in the comments down below. We love discovering places like this. And another major discovery is on the other side of the Thames, almost opposite. It's Southwark Cathedral, and I'll put a link to that video up in the top right hand corner. So if you click on that, I'll see you in there.